Hey everyone, this is Dr. Drizzle, and today we are going to play with some candy. Now this candy that we have was left over from Easter, but I'm sure you can find some around the house. The first thing we're going to do is play with Skittles, and we're going to talk about dissolving Skittles. So first of all, you can empty out your box of Skittles and play around with the colors a little bit, and then lay your Skittles out on a plate where they're not going to be disturbed. So for this one right here, I've got it sort of in the shape of a rainbow, and I am going to pour some water in here and make some patterns. So here we go. Now I'm going to let that sit for just a few moments, and you're going to notice that these colors are going to start dissolving. Skittles are made up of ingredients that can dissolve in water, and they do it very quickly, so you could have a very neat project with this. I've also found some lifesavers, so I'm going to try this also and see what happens when these different candies mix with waters to see if they dissolve quickly or if it takes a while. Now you can also try M&Ms. And you can try different liquids. I'm just using regular tap water here, but you could try sugar water or salt water or even milk to see which one will allow the candies to melt quickly. Now, if you'll take a quick look here, you're going to see that the rainbow Skittles are already forming a rainbow. Make sure you don't move it yet though, so you want the colors to be going down in some straight lines. Over here, we see that the red lifesaver is melting or dissolving a little bit. So we'll come back to those in just a few moments. Remember to take some different types of liquids, including warm water and cold water. The next thing I want to talk about is how to grow your own gummy bear. So what you're going to need are some gummy bears, salt, 2 containers, and a pot of water. Now this is going to be something you're going to have to ask your parents to help you with, but you're going to use a cup of water and you're going to pour it into a saucepan and turn the heat up. Once it starts to boil, I want you to pour salt in it and stir it until the salt no longer dissolves into the water. Once the salt has saturated the mixture, you don't need to heat it anymore. Set it off and let it cool down for just a moment. Now, once it's cooled, I want you to have 2 control groups. So I've chosen a green gummy bear and a red gummy bear. In one of the cups, I have salt water, and one I just have regular room temperature water. And we want to see what happens. Now, this was put in there yesterday, and we're already seeing that the gummy bears are changing sizes. So this is a gummy bear that had the cold water in it, and this is the normal size of a gummy bear. Now that's pretty cool. We call that osmosis. That's when a liquid moves from one material to another material through something that is permeable or able to be passed through. And we know that a gummy bear is made of gelatin, which means water can pass through. So I also want to look at what happened to the gummy bear that had salt. So as you can see, the gummy bear that had water in it is a little bit larger than the gummy bear that had salt, but the gummy bear that just had water in it is filled with water. It got much larger. Now this is about 48 hours old, so this is going to dissolve pretty quickly. We're not going to have anything left. But if I look at the one I did yesterday with just 24 hours, you can see that we have about the same size. I don't think it's going to get much bigger than that. Now, I'm also going to ask you to think about what would happen if you used different materials, different liquids. Wonder if you used sugar water. What if you use something besides water, maybe a Coke or a Sprite? So again, the waters moved through the gummy bears and passed through that membrane, this hard piece of the gummy bear. The water went through and filled it up. When the salt water went through, there was no place for the water, so the water left and the salt filled it, and that's why it shrunk up a little bit. Think about when you go to the ocean and you go into the water, and especially with the salt water, your skin kind of wrinkles a little bit. It's sort of the same thing. I'm going to ask you when you do this to maybe weigh them before and after. You can also use a ruler or measuring tape to see if you can decide if it got larger or smaller or thinner or wider. Now here's something very important, kids. Do not eat these gummy bears. We've got them in salt or sometimes in sugar, and bacteria can grow, and that's not going to be very safe. Let's take a look at our Skittles. We know that the theme for Skittles is Taste the Rainbow, and we definitely can see that we have a rainbow here. And notice also it's not as colorful, but we also have a rainbow type here with the Lifesavers. Had we put more in there, we might have had a bigger rainbow. So what are you going to do? If you decide to do growing your own gummy bears, make sure somebody's helping you that's an older person, okay? We want to make sure that you're not heating things on the stove. But here is your challenge. I'm going to ask that you find maybe some marshmallows or some gummy drops and some pasta. And I want you to build the tallest tower that you can build that will stand. So once it starts not to stand anymore, you've gone high enough. You want to make it as strong as possible, knowing that triangles are the strongest shape known to man. So I am so excited that you are here today. Have some fun with your Skittles and your Lifesavers and your gummy bears, and then show me a picture of what you've done with your marshmallows and spaghetti. This is Dr. Drizzle, out.